Yes, interesting times for all of our Bitcoin lovers, where we potentially
Welcome to the
regain
age
the
of
chance.
change. Crypto dreams
Whoop,
a brand new
where am
age.
I
The future's
here?
here, no
Hearing
time
myself twice.
to wait.
There we go.
Freedom's coming, let's
Yeah, so it
create.
is a time where
Turning power to the
potentially we
people's
can jump
hand.
into a
Together we'll
continuation of
reclaim
the
this
bull run.
land.
I'm gonna
Join
show
the
you
alliance,
again
take a
what
stand
I
for
see
a
and what
brighter
AI
tomorrow.
is seeing, right? We
Everybody
see
joins the
this
crypto
Bitcoin rocket
world. Break the chains, watch
that
the
is just
future
taking off.
unfold.
The
This is a
times
voice
have
that you must
aligned
be
for
heard.
Bitcoin to
Everybody
be
joins the
the
crypto
foundation of
world.
our
From wallets cold to
financial future.
markets
A
high.
lot
Together
is
we'll
happening right
reach
now,
the
and I think it is a little bit foolish to ignore the signs. The writing is on the wall. We are in a phase where, in my humble opinion, we're slowly shifting away from the way things have worked over centuries and millennia, meaning we store value mostly for the long term in gold, and also we rely on centralized entities, mostly governments, to define what is money, what can you do with your money, and what is the money worth. One of the very, very bad examples that I have for you is governments and big banks starting to limit your access to your own funds because they are seeing that they're slowly losing control of this centralized monopoly over what value means, how it is transferred, and what you can do with your very own hard earned money. If this is something that you have a problem with, then crypto is for you. And as always, I don't want you to just jump in head first. I want you to ease into it. I want you to ease into it based on fundamentals, based on knowing if this happens, I should do that. And I should also see that depending on what's going on in my life, I should have investments that are more or less passive, that generate passive income. And if I have a little bit more time at hand and I get very courageous and I understand the charts, then I can also trade. As you know, I have the opportunity for you to learn that. I have a cohort coming up May 6th and 7th. And if you want to be part of that cohort, what I recommend you do is you go to the website crypto.lifestyle and you're part of my mailing list. As a thank you, you will get access to a free masterclass where I teach you how I generate 11% monthly on my capital, more or less passively. I also am very happy I got some feedback today from one of our students. Here you can see I asked in our community, what kind of results are you seeing? And he says small gains, managed to get $300 just doing normal trades. And that is actually not all that small, very humble here. Is not all that small because $300 with normal trading is really a good result for for probably what was a day trade. I would have to ask what kind of trade that is. Now, we are currently, and that's probably why you have tuned in, we are currently in a situation where we may be able to set up a trade in Bitcoin. And that is always interesting because Bitcoin obviously has a lot of trust, a lot of authority. And I would argue that even if you miscalculate your trade in Bitcoin, if you do the trade in spot, meaning you buy the coin, you still have the coin. And even if you can't execute the trade according to how you foresaw it, With that coin ownership, you can do so many things. You can lend it out, and by doing so, you can get interest on your position. You can provide it as you can borrow against it if you want, and use that uh, money to provide liquidity for markets. So you are a market maker. You are turning into a bank. So there's definitely lots of different things you can do. Yeah, Andrea, right? That's incredible that he got that result. I'm also super excited for him. So let me see. I'll show you. By the way, if you have questions, comments, concerns, put them in the chat. Even if I don't catch it live, I know what to create next and what to talk about next. This is very important to me. And of course, if you find value in what I'm doing, please make sure you like, subscribe, and you also share this with someone who asked you recently, well, I know crypto is important and I know that it will be part of the financial future, but I need someone to listen to who is not necessarily a crypto bro. I need someone to listen to who is well rounded in life, who maybe has had a career as an entrepreneur. And that's me, right? So point people to me, please. And nobody needs to be in a rush. Patience is very important. So what we'll go over is, here's what I will do first. I'll show you the platform where I personally park my money when either a trade didn't go quite as I imagined. I still hold spot and I park it there and I get an API. That's kind of the safest what you can do in decentralized finance, right? So here we are. Okay, so here you see this is a site called Aave, and it is one of the market leaders in being a decentralized borrowing and lending platform. As you can see, I have uploaded a certain amount of money in stable coins, and this is the APY I'm getting right now. This is no touch, very little involvement here, just supplying the funds. And as you can see, you can supply ETH, you can supply Bitcoin. There's different types of coins you can supply, but I am supplying stable coins here in this instance. And then, as you can see here on the right-hand side, you can either be a supplier or a borrower. Or you can be both. You can have a mix. And that is very powerful to me because this is something that in traditional finance, to do this, you need someone's permission. You need someone's permission to do it. And I don't think that is okay. If we are, I had this conversation with Andrea yesterday. If we are adult enough and accountable enough to pay taxes, which is our duty as citizens of a system, then I think we should also be good enough to invest our money in the same fashion as the establishment does. And we should also have the fundamental right to make high risk investments if we choose to do so. And by the way, investing and trading is all about calculating probabilities. Am I most likely going to make money if I take this trade, or am I going to lose money? And what is the risk of losing money, and how can I risk manage by putting a smart stop loss? And I promised you, we are in a situation right now where most likely we have an opportunity with Bitcoin. So without further ado, I'll bring up this chart and we can investigate it, and I can explain to you what I see as a potential trade. Of course, nothing I present here can be considered financial advice. Just consider it good education, okay? Are you okay with that? Awesome. So here is my Bitcoin chart, and essentially what this is showing, first of all, we have a 4-hour time frame here, and this is where we are right now. Okay, so Bitcoin is losing a little bit of value right now. And this morning I sat down and I said, what are the two potential outcomes that I see for Bitcoin right now? You always need to think about what could happen in the best case, which is the bullish case, and what can happen in the worst case, which is the bearish case. And by the way, if we understand the tools of trading and decentralized finance, then we can set ourselves up to make money in both cases, which is really what I am living, because I'm living a crypto lifestyle where 80% of my financial needs are met with daily income from crypto. And if you find that hard to believe, I'm going to show you briefly here by going to this platform. What do you see here? You see an APR of 401%, and you see daily rewards of 163. That is pretty incredible, isn't it? And that is specifically what I teach you in my free masterclass. If right now you go to crypto.lifestyle, so let me give you the, do I have that as an overlay? So you can kind of see it a little easier. I think I do. Yeah, it says join the waitlist. Of course, the waitlist for the next cohort, which is on May 6 and 7. But between now and May 6 and 7, you can still get the free masterclass. Go to crypto.lifestyle and take advantage of me teaching you that. Me teaching you something that I actually live. That is very important to me. I walk my talk. I'm not interested in showing you only theory. It's very important for me that I walk my talk. Okay, so what's going on here? We had Bitcoin for a while trending and chopping upside down, not trending, but ranging. So that was what Bitcoin was doing. And then yesterday we had this short squeeze, meaning a lot of the bears that had bet on Bitcoin losing even more ground. And there was good reason to do that, got liquidated. And when the positions are liquidated, what happens is essentially a force buy of the coin, which in this case was Bitcoin. That caused Bitcoin to rally up to this very important area here, where we have long-term resistance here at the $95,000 area. And I woke up this morning and I asked myself, so what are the two potential continuation paths? And I put it in the different colors, right? So first of all, the bullish case is the green path. What I think will happen is we will go down and revisit this important line here, which happens to be around 88,500. And that is a level that is the 0.5 Fibonacci level. If you don't know about Fibonacci levels, that is something that traders often use, but you need to use it in combination with other indicators. And in this case, it was the Monday high, okay? And it's also at the beginning here, you see we had this pump up, and then we consolidated a little bit, and then we continued. So it's right above this consolidation. So what I think is going to happen is that Bitcoin will go down to that level again, and it's already playing out. You see it here. This is on the 4-hour chart, meaning in the past 4 hours we have a downtrend, so it's already playing out. And then hopefully in the bull case we bounce off of that, we go into the long-term resistance of 95,000, we bounce off of it, or we reject, I should say, and we put in a higher low. This is very important. You see high, low, higher high, higher low. And if we get very lucky, higher high, we break through this long-term resistance here around 95,000, where, of course, just like we had a lot of bears here, we have a lot of bears here who have their shorts, right? Short position. And when they get liquidated, they get forced to buy more of the coin to go out of the short, and we go to new all-time highs. So what I want you to see is here, this is, if you have a trader's mentality, you most likely want to wait for this entry, okay, and see if price bounces off of this support line. Okay, this is if you are a trader. If you don't have as much time on your hand and you don't want to deal with trading, then you wait for the investor entry, which in my opinion is going to be here above 95. Once you see that we have built up several daily candles and we stay above this level of 95, 96, then this is where you would, as an investor, go back into position, right? That's not financial advice, but that's what I'm doing with my own money. There's always a certain amount that goes into my trading and a certain amount that goes into my investing. And then my favorite topic is, of course, the liquidity provisions. Why? Because on our way, so would you not say that it is reasonable for me, if I am bullish, to say there's going to be a lot of trading no matter what in this range? Okay, would you agree with that? Type yes in the chat if you agree. And if that is the case, then we know that what's going to happen here is there are trading fees that will be generated. Okay, and those trading fees in traditional finance go to the brokers, to the banks, but in decentralized finance, that money can go to someone referred to as a liquidity provider, and you can be a liquidity provider. And I'm teaching the simplest way of being a liquidity provider in the free masterclass, which is accessible to you at crypto.lifestyle. So definitely take a look at that, because what's happening is, while we do this, this down and up and down and up, and this is like a weather report, I don't know for sure if that's going to play out exactly like this. But while this happens, instead of losing and winning trades, you can collect trading fees. Now, that's what I like to do, by the way. This liquidity provisioning is what's going on here. And that is why you see this daily reward here, no matter what I'm doing, right? That's why this platform can even predict that, is because it knows there's going to be trading fees here. The trading itself, I like to do with this platform called Bitfunded. And the cool thing about that is you trade with other people's money. Okay, so I have an account equity here. Actually, so I have an account equity of 5,343. Okay, and $5,000, that's not my own money. That is other people's money. And then you got to realize your profits, and you get a cut off of the profits. But you first need to pass a test phase. Okay, so this is a test phase I'm still in, and I don't have a lot of time to place these trades these days, but I will try and take this trade that I outlined here, right? I wait patiently, see if Bitcoin bounces off of this Monday high, and then I think it's fair to say that it will try to attack the 95,000 region. Do we have any questions? Do we have any questions? Please put them in the chat, because it's really important for me to educate you all, and you are on different levels of this journey. You're on different levels of this journey. So whatever question you have, put them in the chat so that even if I don't see it now live, I can later create content around it. By the way, in terms of creating content, I highly recommend you go to Instagram. I'm also on LinkedIn and TikTok and X. It's always the same handle. Look for my handle, Shankar Ponsley, and follow me so that you can actually see the crypto lifestyle unfolding, because I am definitely living that to 100%. The next big appointment we have as a crypto nights, crypto loving people, is of course the Bitcoin conference at the end of May, which is where I will of course be present and bring the latest news to you. All right, I don't think I see any other questions or comments, which is good. I think what you need to understand is that we have an opportunity to put in what is known as the final leg of the bull run, because the bull run is potentially still on. A lot of people called for a left translated cycle, which is essentially an early end of the bull run. But with what we've seen over the past really 2 days, we have new hope for continuation. But the continuation only happens if and hopefully when we see this playing out, right? We absolutely have to regain and conquer this $95,000, $96,000 area. And by the way, if Bitcoin continues its bull run, then the altcoins will follow, the alternative coins. So Bitcoin is always an indicator for what's happening in crypto, and it's leading. And then once Bitcoin does its thing, and everybody on social media and on mainstream media knows that crypto is on fire, then the altcoins come into play. Altcoins being the meme coins and the lesser known coins, such as Sui, such as Solana, such as AVAX, right? There's quite a few out there. I actually traded Doge yesterday because I know that altcoins will follow the trend, right? So you can see here, this is the trade that I took, and it was a fun ride. So I knew that because Bitcoin pumped, Doge would follow. So I think I entered here and I exited right at the top. So by the way, alternative coins are highly volatile, right? So that's not something for someone who doesn't have experience. But look at what is really a possibility here. If we don't have the end of the bull run and we put in another leg, well, looking at those levels, you can clearly see there is an important level here. I already marked it. And then the next one is here. And then the next one is here. Okay. So that means that there is a chance for this to happen. If we kind of look at a trade here, I would wait, by the way, for this correction. I already put in an alert here. This dotted line is an alert, by the way. So once Doge comes down a little bit, how far you're asking probably? Well, remember how I told you about Fibonacci levels? You basically go to the bottom of the move and go to the top, and then at the 0.5 level, so which is midway, this is when in bullish conditions, this is what happens, right? You get a pump, then you get a correction to the 50, and then this can happen very abruptly, by the way, and then we continue. So the thing is that with alternative coins, because we have a lower price, like this is 17 cent right now, the gains are proportionally very enormous that you can make, right? So what would a trade like this look like? Well, you would look at that 0.5 level, and then you would open a position. You would set your stop loss probably very narrow, to be honest. Probably here, a little bit under the 618, and then you would be looking at, it would not be unreasonable to plan this trade to go onto 20 cent, right? So that is a 6.3 risk to reward ratio. And this is going to play out if we have the continuation of the bull run. And by the way, it is absolutely realistic to assume, if we put in another part of the bull run, that it goes as high as 24 cent. Why not? Now we're looking at a 13.6 risk to reward ratio. And I don't have to tell you that that's pretty awesome. And we're talking spot. We're talking spot. Once you get advanced at this, you can apply leverage, and you can easily turn a few $1,000s into several tens of $1,000s. But this is a more advanced stuff, right? And this is also riskier stuff. I am in a position, as I told you, where I see this as a lifestyle. I don't want to gamble. I want to live off of this industry. And that's what I'm here for, to teach you. Fantastic. So go ahead and join the crypto lifestyle. Go to crypto.lifestyle, and then you're part of it. You're part of it. And then you can always look at the free masterclass and decide if you want to be part of the cohort, the boot camp on May 6th and 7th. Beautiful. If there is nothing else, always stay curious. And yeah, I'll see you very likely tomorrow on this platform.